Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to the Small Biz Chat podcast. I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, your host. And if you're watching us live on YouTube, please subscribe to this channel and share a comment if you hear something brilliant that's going to change your business. Also, if you're watching us on Facebook, please share and like us so that more people find out about this great information and resource that you have. All right, now it's time for me to introduce my guest, Alyson Caffrey. She's a small business operations strategist and the best-selling author and founder of the Operations Agency. She's best known for helping streamline brands. She's best known for helping streamline brands back-end operation and using her Operations Simplified framework to unleash the power of small teams. Alyson is committed to using her experience growing businesses and streamlining operations to help parentpreneurs kid-proof their businesses and live family-focused lives. She's also the author of the new book, The Sabbatical Method, and she's here to tell us all about it. For more information, head over to operationsagency.com. Alyson, welcome to the Small Biz Chat podcast.
Melinda, I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. It's always honestly humbling still to see someone who holds the book up. I just can't believe it.
Well, as someone who's written a book or two, I get it. You do get excited. So tell us your backstory. How in the world did you become an operations strategist?
Yeah. So I actually always say I'm a little bit of an accidental entrepreneur. I was super, super great at organizing things behind the scenes, making businesses feel a little bit more efficient and kind of being, I always said, the sweaty generalist behind the scenes. I was just the gal that could come behind the scenes and get things done. And so when I started working for myself, it was kind of accidental. Folks were like, can you please help me just understand all the moving pieces of projects and paying people on time and finding new talent and all the unsexy stuff behind the scenes of the company. And so I actually sent my very first invoice while I was studying for LSAT courses. I had no intention of becoming a business owner. And then all of a sudden, here I was leading folks through some of the most, hectic growth seasons of their business. And I was like, maybe I have a knack for this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, what inspired you to explore the relationship between rest and business growth?
Yeah. So this is a tough one. There have been several different experiences that I've had over working with companies side by side over the last 7 years. So the first really big jarring one was the birth of my first son, Frank. And I was about 3 years into running Operations Agency and became a mom. And if anybody listening is currently a mom and running their own company, you have to say goodbye to your first baby being your business, and you need to upgrade it. You need to find great, capable people who can be with it, who can take care of it, make sure that your clients are totally taken care of. And that was my first really, really solid brush with understanding that actually my business could function a lot better if I wasn't always in the way. There were great people with wonderful ideas, leaders in my organization that rose up through that experience. The second really, really big experience that I had was I was approached by a client in late 2021 who had suffered a ton of physical health issues. And it wasn't because she was, completely it wasn't just a complete shock to her. It was because over time, she had spent more time focused on her business than she did her own personal health. She had advanced lipidemia, and her doctor told her that if she didn't lie down to pump her lymphatic system every 4 hours or so, she actually would end up being hospitalized. So she came to me in a dire moment of need and said, Allie, I have to take a sabbatical from my business, and I don't know what I'm going to do. She was an executive coach. Her speaking was really her big bread and butter. So she really needed to be physically there in her business. And we worked together to create an excellent plan for her, and her business ended up better because of it. Her relationship with her team ended up better because of it. And it really inspired me to consider that if you have incredible operations behind the scenes, people that feel nurtured and they understand what their contribution is, it's actually really common that the founder isn't totally necessary inside of the business. And we don't have to burn the candle at both ends in the middle and continue down that path of hustling and growth. It's not actually going to get us to the next stage of, business development that we want. And so I had so many different experiences with this. And I do know, and I practice this for myself now because, business owners, it's so hard to step out of your own way and take time off of your business. And I found that some of the best business owners that stay in business the longest have this really figured out. They prioritize their rest, they prioritize time to lead, and create a vision for what's next for the company.
So tell us, what is the sabbatical method?
Yeah. So I like to think I redefined the term sabbatical a little bit. So sabbatical is a cadence of rest. And whether you are overdue and you really need a hard stop and you need to kind of really just take a break from your business, or if you just need to implement rest more consistently, something like closing your computer at 5 p.m., or dare I say, taking the full weekend off without checking your email, we can kind of shrink the sabbatical method or expand it to the level that we want. I've seen folks take 3 months off from the business and go hiking. I've seen and prepared moms take maternity leaves from their business and actually spend some time at home with their families. I'm actually currently running a cohort for a go slow summer with our kiddos so we can go to the beach and do all the things. So sabbatical can actually be defined however it is necessary for you in your business right now. I know that some of us, especially in those early stage startups, we can't even fathom taking 3 months off, but we can start to build that muscle early on and not let our business creep into our life so much so that we pick our head up 6 months, 10 years later, and we wonder, why did we just ignore our personal health? Why did we ignore our personal relationships? I think becoming a leader inside of your company and leading lots of folks really depends on oftentimes our personal health, our mental health, how clearly we feel, how passionately we feel. That pours into our people so wholeheartedly, our clients, our teammates, our partners, if we're looking for any sort of growth in the company. So I find that sabbatical is both the cadence of rest and the preparation for larger stints of really getting above your business and looking at what that next step is.
So okay, I hear you. But a lot of times the reason why people work so hard in businesses is because they're not properly capitalized. They don't have any staff. They are an army of one. So what is your advice for this person when in fact, that's 80% of the small businesses out here are solopreneurs working out of the back bedroom of their house. So how does this sabbatical method work if you're that person?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And I think oftentimes we think that just because we are solo, it means that we don't have access to help. And that's a super dangerous place to come from because then emotionally, physically, mentally, we think that everything rests on our shoulders. Our business success rests on our shoulders. And though in many ways it does, there are so many ways to have collaborators inside of our business. So that's number one, is recognizing that you're not alone. There are coaches, there are mentors, there are communities like these where you can come in, you can get some support. And even pouring into your business in this way and setting aside some time to learn, to educate, that is a form of rest, in my opinion, right? Really getting out of the weeds of your company and figuring out, okay, I'm going to just download this information or I'm going to go be still with myself for a second to know what the next best step is for me. So I always say for my solopreneurs, do not let your business creep beyond the lines of your calendar. And what that means is if you are really supportive and structuring your day to close your computer at 5 or not check your email over the weekends, you will not create a business that actually needs more of your time than it's supposed to need. And I think that's one of the reasons why we get so hung up in those early stage years where we're maybe solo or we have a handful of contractors supporting us, kind of part-time. And then we work 80 hours a week and then we never stop working 80 hours a week. So if we get to a certain point and we can start to exercise that muscle of saying, no, actually, it can wait until tomorrow. It'll show our families that they mean the world to us. It'll show ourselves, right? We can share, our wins with our family and our friends. We can focus on our mental health, our physical health, all of those things. And it will end up creating a better business in the long run because nobody wants to build a business that just saturates all of their time. They want to be able to enjoy some of the things that they're creating and some of the difference that they're making with their companies.
I don't think anyone intends to build a business like that. Let me just say that. But how do boundaries and self-discipline play a role in creating, more balance for entrepreneurs?
Yeah, boundaries are absolutely huge. And, I actually learned this mostly by becoming a mom. truly is just communicating with folks, not only what is not for you, but also what is and what you need help with. So I think it's actually kind of a double-edged sword here, or almost a balancing act, if you will. Just as much as you need to determine, okay, this is my boundary, I'm not going to work past 5, you also can just say, hey, listen, the things that I am going to do in this time are X, Y, and Z, and I need help in the Z area. So I think oftentimes business owners, because there's so many ways we can grow our company, because there's so many different things we can do, we often get a proverbial shiny object syndrome. And so we try to chase every single thing at one time. And that's what contributes to this overworked and 80 hours a week, 90 hours a week. And so if we can actually set up those boundaries, it does make our plate proverbially smaller. And so only the things that are for us can get on that plate. You know, if you're in a position where you're trying to market the heck out of your business and you're doing every single thing possible to market, but you're not doing just one well, imagine if you created the boundary to shut your computer at 5 and not work the weekends, and you created the boundary and you said, okay, what's the best thing we're doing in our marketing right now? And that was the only thing that was able to stay on your plate. You could 10x the outcome of that by just focusing on one thing. And I personally believe rest and sabbatical create the forcing function for that. They force us to determine what is most important, what are we actually getting the most return on investment from with our time, with our capital, whatever that looks like, and really, really, again, refine and define how we operate.
How does prioritizing rest, like how can you incorporate rest into your work schedule, right? Because I don't know about you, there is a just never ending to-do list of things that need my attention. And I do have a big team that work for me. So, I'm just trying, I've been in business for 25 years. So I find what you're saying interesting. I mean, I am a professional single mom. I was divorced when my son was 4. So I'm not sure all the things you're talking about are relational to me because I didn't have any backup. I had to make dinner. I had to, fill out all the permission slips and help with homework. And after I put that little boy to bed, who is now 18, I had to work some more before I went to bed. So I don't know if what you're talking about really works for a 2-parent household or, these single moms out here running these businesses. Is this all this stuff working for them too?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. And I appreciate you sharing your perspective because there are a lot of single parents out there who are also running companies. And I think the traditional 9 to 5 is what I've been referencing, right, in terms of creating boundaries. But I work all the time with moms who want to take maternity leaves from their companies, and they redefine what it looks like to work and work a normal schedule all the time. So, for example, if you're in a position where you're the primary caregiver for your kids and you need to find those pockets of time to work, it's actually almost as important, if not more, for single parents or folks with many, many different responsibilities in their personal lives to get super focused on exactly what they need to be doing in those times. And I find that motherhood, maybe even, all the things that we are in our personal lives are forcing functions for getting really defined and really refined in what we're doing inside of our companies. So yes, it can absolutely work for single parents. It can work with folks who are even doing this part-time, because imagine you have, a full-time job and you're working to build your business in the evenings and you have, let's just say 2 or 3 hours in the evenings dedicated to building your company. We need to be really, really specific about what that is and what exactly you're getting done, because what we don't want to do is have 3 hours turn into 6 and then all of a sudden you're falling asleep in your cereal in the morning and you can't do your day job. So we don't want this to creep into some of the other areas of our life. So boundaries, like you were saying just before, Melinda, super, super important here. And I find that we have to make sure we keep the main things the main things.
Love it. When we come right back on the Small Biz Chat podcast, we're going to talk more with Alyson Caffrey about how rest can be your secret weapon in your small business. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Hey y'all, I'm launching my very first private online community for women entrepreneurs. We're calling it SmallBizLadyAcademy.com. And listen, we're going to be providing how-tos, video training, live coaching, webinars. We're going to do monthly member roundtables, and you're going to get an amazing resource library of all of my favorite ebooks and templates. So listen, whether you're ready to start or you're trying to grow your business so you can sell it one day, we're going to have exclusive content just for you. And all of our content is going to be available in English and Spanish. So I want you to jump on it today because we got a founder rate out here. It's going to be your rate for life. So all you have to do is head over to SmallBizLadyAcademy.com. where we're empowering women entrepreneurs with knowledge, community, and access. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Small Biz Chat podcast. I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, your host. And we're talking with author Alyson Caffrey with the new book, The Sabbatical Method, How to Leverage Rest and Grow Your Business. All right, Alyson, really quickly, tell me, how can we help entrepreneurs overcome guilt or feelings of inadequacy associated with taking time off and prioritizing self-care?
Yeah, this is a huge one, Melinda. I mean, all of us feel really bad saying no, I think. And especially, I think women suffer from this particularly horribly, that we feel bad letting people down. We feel bad saying no. And it feels like we tie up our self-worth in however much we're working in our business. And I often find that people wear this like a badge of honor. And I remember when I had my first son, Frank, we were sitting in the hospital and my husband takes this photo of me and my newborn son. And in the next frame, the one he didn't capture, I set him aside of me in the hospital and I picked up my phone and I started answering Slack messages and emails from my clients and my team. And at that moment, I was like, oh, look how dedicated I am to my business. I'm working all the time. I can work from anywhere. But in the back of my mind, I knew that I had just chosen. I had created a priority of my business over my baby. And I knew that that was never going to happen again. And that I was committed to making sure that I had the systems in place, the clarity in place for my team. So that is the very first thing. If you're starting to feel guilt, not answering those emails, not being available for clients, start to ask yourself the question, have you clearly created those boundaries for the people who are communicating with you? Have you clearly stated, hey, listen, I'm not going to be responding to emails at this time, and I will absolutely address your questions at X, Y, or Z time? That boundary, first and foremost, would be excellent. Second is to pour into your people. So if you do have a team that supports you, if you do have a book of clients that really need your support, tell them what to do, how to be successful, support them with things that necessarily don't mean your time, right? You can still support your people. You can still give them great guidance via partners, via contractors, via anybody that you can. I remember the other day I was approached by somebody who really needed some operational support. I was full. So I have a wonderful partner that I sent them over to, and it was such an incredible relationship. They're having an amazing time. So my opinion is, don't feel bad taking time off. People will understand. Almost every entrepreneur I've worked with who is taking a maternity leave, they're always afraid to tell their clients and their team that they're pregnant. They're always afraid to leave the business because they feel bad. And I always tell them, I've never worked with anybody who's ever made an announcement like that and someone has come back and said, how dare you? So tell them you're a human being and tell them that you're going to take time off, and just be honest about what this means for the company and what it means for you as a human being.
Good advice. Good advice. All right. What's the best business advice you've ever gotten?
Take care of yourself first. I love this because it weaves from business into family, which is totally my MO, is that I believe I am a better owner to my business when I have a clear head, when I am in shape, when my belly is full, I get a little hangry, and when I have a moment to actually pour into myself as an individual. And I think the same is true for motherhood. I think oftentimes moms feel so guilty. They always are, excited to put their kids first and buy their kids the new outfits instead of focusing on them and nurturing them, and then pouring from overflow into our families and into our friends and into our personal relationships. So take care of you first. It is not selfish. It is absolutely selfless to make sure that you pour into others.
Love it. Thank you so much, Alyson.